always love that jazzy tune right here on the station that loves music and loves life. So you're welcome if it's your first time listening to Office Journal. We again are the Love Music, Love Life radio station, but we love other things, and you are at the center of it. That's why we have these shows where we discuss everything that relates to your personal growth, your career, your productivity, as well as information and knowledge from finance to what happens in the workplace, as well as how to actually start a business, which we're discussing today. On other shows, we've talked about marketing, sales, strategies, and many things. But today, we want to talk about how to start a business from the scratch and build it. And not just any kind of business, but make sure that you're building a successful as well as a sustainable business. Here in Nigeria, context is Nigeria. And to discuss that, I have as my guest someone who has actually built a business here in Nigeria. Beyond that, he's someone that has helped people to build business that are thriving and doing well in Nigeria. So he is the one who heads the Global Leadership Institute. And in that place, he and his team come up with ways to just help people to develop business ideas, business plans, which we will get into today, what business plan is and why you need to draw it, and they also execute it and overall manage the business. I'm referring to someone who recently became an author. He is Abayomi Adewumi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me in the studio. How are you?
I feel great.
Well, how has it been being a Nigerian businessman?
Challenging, but rewarding.
Mm. So, you know what? I want to start from that. I like stories a lot, and especially when we're talking about this. Yes, we know what the books and the theory says, what the business schools tell you, but we want to get into the nitty gritty. So let's start with your own business story. Getting into this space where you are an entrepreneur. When you went to school, did you imagine you were going to become an entrepreneur? You just wanted a secure and the safe 9 to 5 life.
Okay, so it's kind of a funny story. I know it sounds cliche. I have a science background, and very early on in life, I'd imagined myself as a physiotherapist or a neurosurgeon.
Interesting.
So yes, life happened, jump happened, and I got to become a chemistry student in Obafemi University. I didn't take up to 2 years in there before I started discovering that this is not what I want to do. I don't want to mix chemicals. I'm not that interested in Avogadro's law.
I don't even remember that law again. I don't. Yes, I was a science student, but I don't remember.
So, and I think what changed it for me was I came to Lagos to visit my brother. He runs a construction company, and we came to Lekki together. That was, I think, 2009, 2010. And we came to Lekki together. And I grew up in Ife. That's a backstory. We, we, we came to Lekki, and I started seeing a lot of businesses. I started seeing a lot of things, and it just opened my mind. Prior to that, I've been an avid reader, but like you said, it's been mostly just expanding and traveling through my mind to where my legs have not been to. But seeing Lagos, seeing big businesses, I told myself, did somebody build this business? Did somebody build this edifice? Then I'm definitely going to do something like this. But how we're going to do it, that's a very long story, because it took a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures before I finally realized that, okay, this is where I want to play. And it's all about discovering myself that by the time I was in part four in school, I was very, very interested in solving problems for people. The spoiler alert is I didn't even know what career existed in that. I just knew I was floating. It was not sure. I was not a chemist, even though I was studying chemistry, and I didn't know where I belong. So readily, because what I wanted to do involves solving problem, I saw it more like, oh, maybe I'm going to become a public speaker. But a public speaker in what? So it's over time, life positioned me as that. I followed my brother out to do something on site. Then I met the owner of his school, who just created a school, founded a school back in Ogun State, and he was looking for how to get students into it. And My very, very bold self, I told him, I can get you. I can do it. He just looked at me. You know, we had some things on the head. I just started drilling out data, telling him a lot of things I can do. And he looked at me, told my brother, I said, you know what? I'll give him a chance. He had access to the biggest consultant, he had the biggest, and I said, I'll give him a chance. And that was my first time of ever being paid for an advice. I went to the school and I said, wow, this is interesting. How do I build a business out of it? That's a journey that I've spent the last 7 years doing. And on the way, I've also done other businesses, some massive failures, but opportunity to learn, and others, a few, have been a success.
Very interesting. It's why I am again excited about this and how the hows that will come out of this conversation, because the topic of today's conversation is how to build a successful business, not just any kind of successful business, from the scratch. So if you are just joining us, you're listening to Office Journal on Smooth 98.1. My name is Oluwaseun Olusegun and my guest is Abayomi Adewumi. We'll be back to tell you more about the ingredients as well as what happened to those ones that were successful and the ones that didn't quite make it through the night. Stay with us.
Adult contemporary radio station.
Hi, the Jumola. His name is Abayomi Adewumi.
Terra Seasoning Cube turns your meals into a masterpiece. Unwrap joy, unleash taste. Come cook with Terra Cubes. Come cook with Terra.
No, we're on ad break.
Okay, I'm just looking at.
The
So you
buttons.
control all these buttons.
This is not even much.
It's not much.
It's not.
What would be much?
Well, or maybe because I'm used to it.
Yeah, just because you're used to it. It looks a lot. Managing different things at the same time.
No, yeah, it's part of what you do as well. I remember how I used to watch people like that too, and I would think, wow, there's so many buttons. How will you not be confused? But eventually, you wrap your head around it.
Rich, consistent taste for cooking mouth-watering soups, stews, and jollof. Choose wisely. Choose Gold, Terra Gold Seasoning Cube.
One cube, endless possibilities. Terra Gold.
Love music, love life.
Hello, Mary. Good morning.
Okay, you're live and active.
Smooth
Okay, actually live and active.
90.1.
Let's take this.
Golden Terra Oil helps mom pour her love in the tasty, nourishing
All
meals she
right,
makes
we
for her
are
family.
coming
Golden Terra Oil,
back.
pour pure love.
Smooth.
Hello, I'm Richard Quest of CNN, and this is Smooth 98.1. 98.1.
Very correct. You're listening to Smooth 98.1, where we love music and we love life. Right now, you're listening to Office Journal, and it's the show you listen to every Tuesday from 11 till 11:50, 11:55. Well, we're talking about your career, your business, how to make more money, even with the right mindset. And of course, today we're talking about businesses. We talk about the 9 to 5 life, what happens in the 9 to 5 life, as well as the office. But we also talk about entrepreneurship. That's why we're talking about how to build a business from the scratch. And as my guest today, I have Abayomi Adewumi, and you can call him a business planning expert. So before the breather, he was telling us about some of his, well, part of his journey, how he wanted to become a scientist. And you know what we see? They gave him chemistry, and the rest they say is history. So now that we are talking about businesses, especially in the context of Nigeria, you have built a number of businesses, I believe. If I remember correctly, you were also into the food industry where you started doing noodles and the fast food. I'm sure that was not where you started from. So many things. Walk me through the journey. I mean, the parts where you want to do some things. What makes you open up? I think you're also a serial entrepreneur. What makes you open up? Okay, I'd like to do this. I'd like to add this to the chain of business I already run. Is it the demand? Is it the money? Is it people saying, "Hey, Abayomi, I think you can do this"? Or what really inspires each that you start?
Okay, so that's very instructive, and I'm going to answer it in two parts. I'm going to give you a framework you can use for your business. I'll bring out my consultancy aspect in that part, and I'm going to share my story with you on some of my businesses, what led to me starting them. So, the truth is, uh, you know what you want to do. I know a lot of people have been told follow your passion, which is fine. But what do you do when your passion cannot feed you right now? And if you are not very careful, if you cannot feed yourself, it's very difficult to be creative. It's very difficult to face other things. On the Abrams Maslow hierarchy of needs, food, shelter, and clothing is the basic need of every human being. You can add internet access to that. Because
True
if
that.
Abraham Maslow is still alive, it will tell you internet access is also important for your mental state. Now, what led me to start some of my business? One of the first businesses I did was owning a football viewing center with three other friends back in Ife. So we all had extra years, and we felt like we can't go back home and ask our parents for money. We're living in school. We all have maybe one courses. How do we sustain, and why? How don't we waste our time? That led us into, we saw a, and that was the first business acquisition I did in my life. We literally bought over a business. Who does that? You're starting your first foray into business, and you're buying business. And that was not a success in the context of sustainability because no longer alive, but it was a success in the fact that it helped us feed ourselves while we were there.
Mm.
Being our first business, we're not thinking about sustainability. We just need something to give us money regularly. But a lot of lessons learned from that, from stakeholder management, the importance of partnership agreement, location of your business, we learned that in real time. We learned it in real time, and the lesson was very huge because we had serious fights with each other. We had some people, we had to buy some people out. Eventually, it remained three of us on the business, and ultimately, within 1 year, it died naturally. So coming to the food business, that was the next thing that I felt like, okay, I want to do some other things, but I need money to fund my life right now. So I moved to Lagos in 2016, and I was around Shomolu. I just walked to Yabatek, and I entered. I cannot see the risky stand we used to have in OAU.
I'm not sure people understand. Oh, by the way, I'm a proud grade Ife. I went to Obafemi Awolowo University. And risky, I'm not sure a lot of people understand what risky is. Risky is what we call it risky burger. So it's the typical meshai where you have the agege bread, for the lack of a better word, and then you have the instantly done egg there, and you put it in the middle, and they compress it in a way that risky burger was a lifesaver. I mean, you're
You
coming from
forgot the
class.
important part. They will put it back on the fry
Oh
pan with
yes,
a
and
little oil,
press it.
so it will look like toast bread.
Yeah. It was, if you eat that thing, you will not be hungry in the next hours. You will be fine. Oh, sweet memories. You were saying?
Yes, sir. Thank you for giving context to that. I just saw that this place lacks a lot of fantastic. I just saw that the people that are doing food for them, the fast food, the noodles, they just raw people, there was nothing innovative about it. I just said, I'm going to do something here to make money. I entered the school, went to the school authorities, give us a space. They said there's no space. There's always a way. I walked over to the market side. I spoke with a few people that I saw that they have spaces in front of their store. I need your space to cook noodles and things. They said, I know. We met a woman who was collecting 1,000 naira per week from me. So the first day, I dressed up, kitted up, white t-shirt, blue jean, my brogues, my brown brogues. Funny enough, I still have it at home.
Interesting.
We just got to that place. We rented another table again, camp gas, and I put it, and I opened at 4 o'clock. Dressed very sharp. And the moment I got there, people were wondering, what are they selling? You see, very, started coming out of curiosity. Then we package our noodles. I created a box in Shomula. I entered Shomula. I said, I wanted paper pack, branded. We need to do it differently. Then I started going to classrooms. Or do you want to order? You can BlackBerry was at the tail end of his life, but we still had the BBM pin, WhatsApp. So people order on WhatsApp, on call, on SMS, and we deliver around the campus. We had a runner guy that just takes the order and deliver to them, and we bill. Everybody wanted to eat the tush indomie, the tush noodles. The girls want to bring their guys. It was fun. Once in a while, we bring music. We bring people to come and do all these traditional songs. And it became a hot spot in Yaba Tech, and I also learned a whole lot of things from there. So now taking it back to what necessitates how to start your business, I'm going to talk about it. I'll call it the value triangle. The value triangle has three vertices like every other triangle, 3 points. And on each of those 3 points, you can have problem, solution, market. In the middle of it comes the value or the business idea. So it could be any way. The first thing could be you identifying a problem, a pain point, something you're not comfortable with, something you think you can do better, profiling a solution for it and looking for markets that has that problem. You could work your way backward and identify a market, look at what they are lacking, then create the solution to it for them. It could also be that you are trying to solve another problem and then you stumble on another solution. And then you wonder, like, how many people exactly have this problem? Then you look for the market that has a problem. You create the solution for them and then you sell it to them. Just understand that while you're looking for the gap in the market, whatever gap you have identified must be commercial enough. Is there market in that gap? It's not just about seeing a gap. It is, will this gap sustain my business? Do I have enough people that have that need? And that's how to set up a business from the scratch.
Quite interesting. Sounds like a summary of everything, but no, we are diving deeper. But if you're joining us for the first time, this is Office Journal on Smooth 98.1. We are talking about how to build a successful business from the scratch. Now, we've learned about what can help you build a business from the scratch, but then there is a sustainability as well. So I would say, in your experience, in your years of experience as a consultant, as a coach, as well as someone who has been a serial entrepreneur, what are some of those practical lessons that you would give out in terms of the sustainability of a business? I mean, aside the markets, that is.
Okay, so quick one. The first thing is, as you're starting that business, I know many of us in Nigeria are accidental entrepreneurs. And that's why we have a lot of people that are more operating on the traders level. What do I mean by trader level? Is where you buy goods and sell. There's not much of value you're adding to it. And some people actually are doing more than trading, but they still operate in the trading mindset, the sole business owner. Quickly, you need to move your business from being a one-man business into a business that is driven by processes, because you don't really have a business until that business can work without you. I know it sounds cliche, but a lot of people spend the rest of their life living paid employment to become employed in their own businesses. And you know the worst part here? Being an employee of your own business can be much more harsh and harder and stressful than being an employee driven in a career for a structured organization. Because you continue to do the same thing over and over. Before you know it, 20, 30 years is gone. And you're looking like, what have I built with my life? Because when you're not there, the business does not work. You've not had vacation in years. You cannot even think of having fun. The moment you take your hands off it, there's issue. So the first thing you must chase as a business owner is, how do I build systems and processes into my business? And I'm going to break that down later on. How to be able to build your processes and system into your business.
Thank you very much. Now, if you are joining us again for the first time, it's Office Journal on Smooth 98.1. But if you are not joining for the first time and you have been listening and following the conversation and you have a question, we will be taking that. WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. Again, the WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. while the call line is 01 448 9981. Again, call line 01 448 9981. We are live on YouTube, by the way, so you can go to our YouTube channel. You can save it, you can share with your family and friends, and you can also go back to it later on. It also allows you to drop in your question or whatever comments that you have so that you can get clarity and be a part of the show. We'll be right back.
Mr. C, and you're listening to Smooth 98.1 for music and more.
As you see me so, I belong to the chop better gang. Now why anytime I want chop like this, I be put better things inside. For my yam porridge, after I don't put my
Yeah, I
fish,
don't
I
like
go
this.
con
I hope you
take
stand
am
up
with
regularly.
onions, tata
Oh
shake
yeah, I
am,
do. I go around because my
season am with
shift is from
correct
11 till
noodles for
4.
that delicious taste.
Yeah.
Because my people,
I
Sitting
do.
down.
life
I
make
just
you
look
chop
for excuses to
better.
stand
Sama
up.
all your
It's
food with
important.
correct
Yeah.
vegetables.
And thank
Come
God
season
you
am with no cubes.
Yeah,
For
cook
that
right
open get
professional.
delicious taste. Today,
Yeah.
chop better.
Because even when I don't do that, my back hurts.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But you're buying businesses.
From the stock market to the street markets, the rules of the trading game never changes. Only the players.
That is for sure. I say level with Ronaldo again.
Whether in running a small business shop or a multinational company, it's always about the simple answers to tough problems and closing deals around the clock. For an
So we
in-depth
are
conversation
26
on
minutes
market movements
in.
on a global scale,
We have
tune
roughly
into the
20 minutes to
marketplace
go.
and get a weekly breakdown of major business stories.
Yeah, come
Review
on.
this week's stock market.
Keep up with the actions of
Love
trading
life.
as we track
Yep,
down the big
that's who we
issues that
are.
affect your day-to-day decisions.
Okay, those are the numbers so that you can always see it and call it.
It's the world
Yeah,
of
it's
markets.
actually already in my
Already in your
head.
head because you call it all the
Smooth
time.
98.1.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
Monday from
I almost
5:15
know that number
p.m.
more than I know the number of some of my relatives. We're back.
Smooth 98.1 because they play my kind of music. Love music,
Love music.
love life.
Love life.
Smooth 98.1.
If the legendary RMD loves Smooth 98.1, you better love us. Well, we are not forcing you. A trial will convince you, like we say. So if you love your R&B, your soul, your jazz, your funk, and the world music or the African music or music beyond African borders, then we got you covered. However, right now you are listening to Office Journal. We talk about you, we talk about your productivity, we talk about your etiquette, we talk about your business, your office life, your career. And today we're talking about your business and how to build it. Maybe you have built a business that failed or crashed or something happened. Well, now you have a dead advantage in terms of the knowledge. We do have as our guest a business planning expert, and his name is Abayomi Adewumi. Before the breather, he was telling us about some of those things to note when you are starting out and building your business from the scratch. Once you have built it, the first thing you want to do is build a system around it, because he mentioned that your business is really not your business until it can run without you. You don't want to be that person who everything revolves around you, and by the time you are not well or something happens, then it crumbles. So in addition to that, what are some of those things you need to bear in mind when you're building a sustainable business?
Okay, so welcome, guys. One of the things you need to note, and I'm going to drive this with what I call the human anatomy of business. One of the ways to understand a business and be able to break it down in a way that is easy for you is that human anatomy of business. By the way, it's a framework I developed. You can't find it anywhere except in my books, in my book that I just released, or in my trainings. What I call the human anatomy of business is simple. If you pick the human body as a human body, a different part of it, I've likened it to a business because her body operates on systems and processes. We get sick when one of those systems or processes breaks down. So, the same way, the first thing I'm going to like you to understand is brain. What does your brain do to your body? What is the importance of the brain to your body? Your brain operates like the central nervous system. And what that means for non-science students is every actions you take, voluntary or involuntary, originates from the brain. The brain is like the CPU in terms of people that understand computer. The brain is like the script for people who are in art. The brain is what directs everything that happens in your body. And what you can liken that to in business is business model. Your business model is essentially how you intend your business to run and make money. Example of business model is, am I going to be a manufacturing business that sells from distributor to retailers and then to consumers? Am I going to be straight from manufacturing and I'm just going to have an e-commerce site and sell? Am I going to mix 2 or 3 models together? Will I build a software as a service business? Will I be leveraging white labeling for my production and just focus on marketing and distribution? Business model is where you come and say, this is how my business is going to run to create value for people and derive value from it. The next thing you want to talk about is the art. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure about this data, but I've heard that our brain can go on living for a long time after our body has died. And the problem is, once the heart stops beating, that's the end of human life. And what you can liken that to is marketing. The next thing you want to take account of is marketing. And marketing is not sales. I mean, a lot of people confuse that with each other. Marketing is creating the desire and intent in your target audience. Now, marketing is not something you do today and stop. So what people do is, like, you're living an human being, and then you stop your heart, and when you're about to die and you notice that you're running out of breath, you do a CPR to resuscitate the heart, and you do that every day. That man is going to die very soon. And that's what many businesses do. We do what we call panic marketing. So there's feast and famine mode. We get a lot of businesses now, especially service professionals. While you are delivering those orders, you forget marketing. So you're not doing the things that are marketing activities. And then you lose track of things. And once you stop marketing, that business is just living on borrowed time. So that's why I liken it to your heart. And then the next one is your blood. What goes into your heart? What does the heart pumps out? Blood. I liken that, and the blood carries nutrients all around the body. We'll liken that to your finance. Cash flow is king in any business. It doesn't matter if you're supposed to make 1 billion naira. If you don't have 10 million naira to pay suppliers this month and they don't deliver to you, that 10 billion naira you are supposed to make, you can never make it. So you need to take care of your finance. So many businesses start with mixing personal finance with company finance, not taking account of what they are taking out of their business as personal drawings and withdrawals, not tracking debtors and allowing a lot of things to fly under the radar, and then also not tracking wastages, because you don't have a hand on your finance. You don't know how much exactly it takes you to produce what you're selling. You don't know how much resources is taken from you to produce what you're producing. And that gets you to a point in which you just get to a point, you're making money and the money is going out. You cannot see the money. You must have met business owners that will say, oh, I don't know whether village people are following me. I'm making money in this business, but I cannot see the money. You cannot see the money because you don't have a hold of your finances. And then the fourth one is the arteries and veins. The arteries and veins are what connects to the heart and carries the blood all through your body. Just imagine that there's no artery and veins and the blood just pumps into your body. What will happen? You will suffocate on your own blood. That's what happens to people who are short, who their veins or arteries is ruptured. They will tell you that they are suffocating on their own blood. So that process and system is very important. Else, you will just have a basket and you're trying to fill water into it. It's an endless, fruitless job. No end. So you need to have systems in place and processes. Okay, what's your financial processes? When we collect money, how does this money get stored? How much do you deduct from it? How do you raise invoices? How do you track invoices? How do you make payments? How do you ask for money from people? How do you raise payment orders? You need to be clear on these processes. How do you handle your staffs? What are your HR policies? This is where these things come into standard operating procedures. Somebody wants to produce. How much do they need to produce? Not just add salt onto it until your grandmothers or forefathers tell you to stop. You need to have measurement. That's why Nigerians look at it like, why do white people cook the way they cook?
Standardization.
Add 5 meals, add 3 meals, something like that. You need to have it for your business. And the last one is what I call the arms. The arms consist of your hands and your legs. They are the one that moves. They are the motion part of your body. The leg move you from a place to the other. The hand helps you to carry things to your mouth, to feed yourself, to do activities. And I would liken that to people. Your business is not a business. It's not something you do yourself. The people, the stakeholders are what essentially makes your business, from your employees to your customers, to your shareholders, to your investors, to the government, to the community. How are you treating these people? Now, if you understand these 5 things and you have all of them sorted out, I can bet with you, you are going to have a successful business that is sustainable.
Once a science student, always a science student, because it's very interesting how you were able to use the body as an explainer and how you were able to use that to just talk about what keeps a business running and alive. Very, very lucid. Thank you very much. Again, joining us for the first time, this is Smooth 98.1. We're talking about how to build a sustainable business, a successful one at that, from the scratch. Now, in your own words, aside this business staying in operation and making money, here in Nigeria, what would you describe as a successful business in your own words?
Okay, so success means a whole lot of things to different people. But one of the easiest benchmark to look at success is how healthy is your business in terms of finances and your people. So it's not just about making money. A lot of businesses look healthy financially, but if their people part is not good enough. One, you have high staff turnover, and when you have high staff turnover, you keep on trying to recruit. Your training cost goes up. People don't like you. People don't want to buy from you. And in this age and time, in which, except for the big brands that have built years ago, if you're coming new into this world right now, your personal brand, your business brand is a reflection of your personal brand. So if people don't know you, like you, and trust you, they won't do business with you. I call it the KLT factor. They have to know you, they have to like you, they have to trust you. So if it is very key that as you're making the money, as you're securing the bag, you're not leaving a wake of destruction in your path. Emotionally destroyed people, deceived people, people that feel that you've taken advantage of them, and customers feel that they've been lied to and you don't care about them.
Thank you for that. On Instagram, where I am live, Emmanuel says, "Thank you, Shion. Learned a lot. Your business, your guest, Sabi." You're very welcome. And if you're listening, well, you can take us with you everywhere that you go. We've got the website where you can stream live and listen live. That is www.smooth981.fm. So that's for you in case you're wondering what you can do if you step away from your radio that you're using to listen to us. You can listen to us anywhere that you are, as long as there is internet connection. Just look for Smooth 981 FM Lagos. And we are currently streaming live on YouTube. So it means you can go back later on to watch this video, and we will put it on our WhatsApp status as well. And if you have any question, you quickly can ask it and get it in. WhatsApp is 0809 444 0981. Just include your name when you send a message, please. 0809 444 0981. Now, I'm curious. I want us to fully get into the Nigerianness of operation of business, because I was checking out data from Statista. Interesting thing that according to them, within the last year, you had about 0.04 new businesses that were registered. Although checking ease of doing business was not exactly interesting. So when you talk about Nigeria, what are those things that you need to bear in mind? Maybe possible hurdles, possible challenges, things that when you face them, you shouldn't be surprised. There is that, and there is also maybe something that you can use to your advantage. So let's start with the bad and then we'll go with the good.
So very critical, and I think I missed that, is oftentimes when you want to start a business, a lot of people tell you to do business plan, and I do tell people that too, because after all, I'm a business planning expert and a strategy expert. And I do say this thing that a lot of people find funny. I will tell you that your business plans are useless. And then they will tell me, But you do business plans, you advise people on business plan. Why do you say your business plans are useless? Just wait before you crucify me. Hear me out. The business plan in itself, which is the document, is useless unless it's a living document. What do I mean by a living document? The world as a whole has moved from where it takes almost a decade for trends and things to change. We now live in a snap of the finger. What used to be relevant last week could suddenly become irrelevant this week. A good example is the dollar rate. So if you've had your plan stated out and it's just a document that you just put on your shelf, gathering dust, it's useless. You need to constantly review that plan. Have a weekly review meeting with your team. If you are the only team presently, review it with yourself. You need to have monthly reviews to understand, okay, what did I do right last month in my document? What did I do wrongly? What can I do better? That's very key. And in talking about Nigeria, one of the things to understand when you're talking about Nigeria is to understand your market. One of the ways to understand market, two things. There are a lot of people, the most profound things of this life are not the hardest things. They are just doing the same things that are easy, but doing it regularly. Two things I will ask you to do. When last have you conducted a SWOT analysis for your business? Which is, what are my strengths as a business? What are my weaknesses as a business? What are the opportunities that exist for me by the virtue of the environment I work in? What are the threats that can kill my business? Then creating mitigating factor for the things that are threat or weaknesses and pushing down harder on things that are your strength. And that does take us also into understanding that Nigeria, you have a lot of things. I don't want to go into mentioning all the things because if you go online right now, you'll find more than 10, 20 issues. Multiple taxation, power issues, infrastructure deficit, ease of doing business like you mentioned, high interest rate that just raised to 21%, which means borrowing will be harder for businesses, unstable FX rates. So all these things are there. But one thing I always tell people is the biggest businesses, the most successful businesses of the world are created not in times of relative peace. They are created in times of turmoil. The question is not what the problem is. The question is, how can I leverage this problem to my advantage? Now, that does not mean you are not patriotic. You don't want the problem to go away. That only means that you're taking your fate into your hand and understanding that I don't work in isolation. You see business owners that call themselves business owners. They don't care about the news. They don't listen to radio. They don't read papers. They don't read anything. They just produce and sell. They just trade and sell. They just buy and sell. How does Ukraine and Russia war affect your business? Because it looks distant away. But now your competition is no longer Chinedu in Alaba or Mama Sidika in Eco Market. Your competition could be in Shenzhen in China, could be in Sydney in Australia. Your competition could be a kid using his phone in a school, in a dorm room in Alaska in US. So thinking that you exist alone is the first problem many business owners face in the country. You need to understand how the country works and leverage it to your advantage.
Thank you. I don't know if you were born in the month of October. They say that those born in the month of October are quite clairvoyant because I was going to get into globalization of the Nigerian business. I mean, you want to spread, you want to go beyond, but I will do that. Since you already mentioned it, you already stepped into it, we will do that right after this. Joining us for the first time, this is Smooth 98.1.
Smooth 98.1. No one does it better.
Love music.
We have 6 more minutes.
Hi guys, thank you for joining. Sorry, falling. Thank
Meals have a
you.
way of taking us on a
Adiku.
journey.
Thank
And
you,
when
Coach
you add
Ojubo.
plenty
Thank
of
you, Niyi,
vegetables like
Super
a pork,
Studio.
ugu, and seasoned with the rich taste
Mr.
of
John
those
alone.
seasoning cubes.
Mr. John,
Even
you're driving.
better.
Please send me a
So,
DM
go
on
ahead
Instagram.
and elevate
I will
your
respond
meals
to you
with
there.
more
If you have any
vegetables
questions,
and the
you can
rich
drop it.
taste
Thank
of
you so
no
much for
cubes.
joining, everyone.
Today, eat for good.
Hi,
All
my
right,
name is
we are
Lisa
back.
Dominic, and this is Smooth 98.1.
And you're in the right place. If you love information, if you love knowledge, if you love music. Right now, we are talking about business knowledge, and I dare say that you've gotten free consultancy from our guest. He is Abayomi Adewumi. Now, before the breather, we were talking about globalization, that you need to expand your horizon and just expand your mind because your competition might not necessarily be in Nigeria. So let's quickly touch on the globalization of a business that started locally. How do you expand? How do you go beyond what you have now? Plus, when you started out, you might not have had the world in view. But looking at the turn of things, what do you do to expand? Actually, one of the other questions I was going to ask is scaling in business. How do you scale without hurting or killing your business? But since we don't have that time, let's talk about globalization.
Okay, so you cannot go global without scaling. And scaling requires some foundation, which are the foundations I've mentioned. You need to get your basics right. Conquer your locality, like one of my friends' program. Conquer your locality, and then you can now go global. But one of the things you need to understand is you don't go global just because you want to go global. You need to go global strategically. What you are selling, service or product, where is it needed? And this is why I said business entrepreneurs are not traders. Entrepreneurs need to be very intentional with exposing their mind. Travel is a form of exposure. Go out there, understand the market you want to go into. Now, before you try to go into a market, you need to conduct an analysis of that market. You need to conduct market analysis. And this is what a lot of business owners in Nigeria don't like. We like take, even up to government, I dare to say, we like to take decisions, then think after it. We face it, let's go. Before you go into that place, understand how does this market operate? What are the bottlenecks? How do I unlock it? What are the possible people I can liaise with? You might necessarily not even need to go there physically because of technology. You could leverage global delivery. I don't want to mention them here. You could use global delivery systems to scale your business. I have clients who are in Nigeria, but they serve the whole world, several African countries. They even white label their products for other people in other parts of the world. So it's about exposing yourself to opportunities. Go for events, go for trainings, meet new people intentionally online. Instagram is not just for you to go and entertain yourself. It should be an intentional ground to cultivate relationship. And I said cultivate because many relationships nowadays are parasitic. They are not cultivated. When you cultivate, you plant, you nurture before you harvest. So cultivate relationships that are very good for your businesses to grow, and it will be easier to scale.
Thank you so much. A final question I would have for you is this one. Now, somebody is listening and they think, I'm just about to start. I barely have so much money. You're talking about business, maybe business plan or business model, and I need accurate information. I need to carry out a market analysis. I need my data. But I don't have the expertise. I don't have the knowledge. It means I have to outsource that. I need to pay an expert and I can't afford it. I think you already mentioned it as you were explaining, but in clear terms, what will you advise a beginner?
What I would advise a beginner is at the beginning of your business, just be ready to learn and do a lot of things by yourself. 2015, 2016, I developed website by myself. I was this customer care. I had to go and look for tools online. There are tools you can leverage online. You want to start a business, who is asking you for professional business plan? Why don't you go and do a one-page business plan, what we call a lean business plan? Just one model. There are a lot of resources online. In life, you need just 2 G's to succeed. God and the other G's that is available out there, which is Google.
Oh, interesting.
It is important. One is for information, one is for revelation.
Okay.
So leverage what you have. The largest university in the world is not in any school, is online. So build lean business plan. Start lean. Iterate fast. Learn fast. Move forward. That is how to start. Nobody that started any big thing started big. If you are looking to start big, then that means you're already big enough. And when people say just hold on before you say, oh, I don't have the money to even start it small, then that means you're not ripe for that business. Either go and do something else to generate the money to start it, or get into an employment. Why demonize employment? Employment is sweet. Some of the highest paid CEOs in Nigeria right now earn way more than any entrepreneur. So be ready to understand that the vision can be set, but the route to get there can change at any time.
Hmm. You have dropped so many gems and nuggets. I feel like there is so much more in your book. I think one thing I'll hold on to is the one you just talked about. You need two G's in life. One is God, one is Google. You need one for information, you need another. That is God, definitely, for revelation.
Inspiration,
Revelation, ideas as well. That's lovely. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of this chat. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you for your participation and everything. So, Abayomi, how can people find you on social media?
Oh, just my name is Abayomi Adewumi. My Adewumi has no N. On Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, that is it. Just search for me, and you can send me a message. You can reach out to me, and we'll take it up from there. We'll talk.
I'm curious though, why Startup to Stardom? That's the title of your book. Why did you name it Startup to Stardom?
Yeah. So basically, what we have there is a roadmap. It's about a decade of experience condensed into that, working with other businesses and working on my business. And I felt like if you can implement what is here, you can take it as a Bible, as a guide, from starting from ideation. What idea should I invest in? To setting up your business, to going global, to scaling, and to giving back to people. And that is the zenith of every human: actualization, legacy, and that is stardom.
Oh, in other words, more of what you have told us on the show today.
Exactly.
Ah, nice. So genius. Well, thank you. I hope for another chat with you one of these days, talking about one thing or the other. But for somebody who's just tuning in, I'm sorry you have missed out on quite a lot. But do not worry. You can find us on YouTube. That is youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. And because you're listening to the Love Music, Love Life radio station, 12 o'clock is the time for me to serve you African music for 4 hours on the show called Casbah. So make sure that you tune in and enjoy everything from the Afro beats to the Afro jazz, Afro funk, the high life, everything really that speaks of Africa and of course comes out of the soil of Africa. My name is Oluwaseun Olusegun, and do stay with us.
One.
Madam Counselor, listen. I love Aisha so much.
Thank you guys for joining. Do have a wonderful day.